Okay. So thanks for taking time to be here at my Thrive in 2025 workshop. I have been really excited, so excited that I did an in-person event last night. I had 12 people come to my home, and there's three main reasons why I'm doing this. Number one is to connect with women, to connect with people. I just love that. And I love what happens when we all come together and share energy and share our backgrounds and our real life stories. And so I love connecting with people. The second priority is to share my Shine On journal, my bullet journal, and tell you more about that and how it has shaped my life, how it has helped me be consistent in um, living an intentional life and finding joy. And the third thing is I just want to add something you didn't know before, a takeaway, something that you just feel like, oh, that was an insight that I needed today. So I hope that it's inspiring. So those are my three purposes of this, doing this workshop today. Um, so connecting, we kind of found out who everybody is. Um, Thanks for being here, taking the time to do this. I told you last night, I this was my big launch of this bullet journal that I have. And when I designed this at the beginning of the year, it was this color, kind of a light pink color. And this is for 6 months. So this ends in June. And then I designed a new one that will be July through December, and it's blue. Last night I had 9 copies, and they all walked out the door. Everybody that came took one. They bought it from me, and they just loved what they had seen, and they were really excited to test it out and try it. So I realized that I sold my copy. I don't even have one right now. So I'm going to be ordering more. And it's $25 just to buy the journal. And I will order them and send them to my house so I can save you on shipping. And then, and if you live too far away, I can send it to you too. So I'm paying the shipping. It's just a $25 flat fee. But let me tell you about it. The This is just kind of a little thing. To you, is it backwards like a mirror, or can you see it straight? I think that's the weirdest thing about Zoom because in my picture it's backwards. Okay, so thrive in 2025. I love this question. Are you surviving or are you thriving? And this time of year, it's kind of a good time to just check in. How are things going? We get this momentum at the beginning of the year. I'm going to do this, 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 and this. And then life hits, and then May comes, and then here we are in June. Like, whoa. I just kind of like, I know I want to be doing things. I just don't know how to get started. I've lost momentum. I feel like I'm running on a low battery. And so that's what I think I is really exciting is in June we can have a jump start and get going again. Um, and like I said, my new bullet journal starts in July. And okay, let me add one more person that just came in. So so I just, yeah, Katie's hopping on. So welcome, Katie. She's
Hi.
ready too. Katie, really quick, just tell us where you live and how your connection with me. That's where we all kind of started.
Okay. I live above Foothill Drive in the St. Mary's area. And connection, I used to live right by Becky and in the same ward for what, 18 years. And then we've been friends for longer. So um, that's how I know Becky.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we go back about 25 years too.
Yeah. Yeah. Like pal trips and walks and menu planning and Yeah.
Yes.
Callings. Yep.
We have been accountability partners to each other for a very long time. Let's just
Yes.
say that. Our
That's a good hmm
our health journey together. So
exercise. Yep.
mental health too.
Yeah.
So thanks for being here and taking time out of your day.
No
So
problem.
I'm just talking about the Shine On Journal. Katie has one. I gave she had the first half of the year. And so she kind of knows what we're talking about. And so I'm just presenting, like, starting here in June, how we can reset and get a jump start on the rest of the year. However, the first half of the year is gone. Um, it's okay. We learn from it and we can just jump start. And summer's really good time. Sometimes we have more free time to focus on self-care or organization or whatever. So, this, so that's a question. Are you thriving or are you surviving right now in your stage of life? So, I want to kind of introduce what a bullet journal is. Um, you can just raise your hand. Do you know what a bullet journal is? Are you familiar with bullet journals? It's kind of a term used a lot right now. My definition of a bullet journal is it allows some creativity, a place to express uh, journal in a creative way. That's how I describe it. So my bullet journal does have, for me, I add a lot of color to it. A lot of the places that have like this, I can color it in. I've done a lot of it where it's open, um, not filled in. It allows you space to fill in. So it's like a little mini coloring book. Sometimes that's therapeutic. Um, so the whole idea is to give you space to be creative. It takes planning, organization, like your calendar. It takes I do some tracking of certain specific um, things that I'm looking for every day and a place to record them. So that's kind of what a bullet journal is to me. Um, the other question I want to answer, a lot of people ask me, is why is it called Shine On? Why is it called the Shine On Bullet Journal? Um, this comes from an experience I had a couple of years ago. I was at a transition of life. My kids were graduated from high school, and I was moving forward, like new season of life. My kids don't need me the way that I did, that they did. And how can feel purposeful and meaningful? I put a lot of identity into being a mom and being there, raising my kids. And I had to find myself again, find a new purpose and a new drive. And so that's what started me on this journey. And one day I had a very strong impression to start a podcast. And like, I don't really know if I want it. That sounds like a lot of work. But the spirit just prompted me, start a podcast. And I said, well, what would this podcast be about? And the spirit said, talk about the light of Christ. Talk about how Christ is a light in your life. And uh, and then ideas came, people to interview and guests to have on my and sharing their story. And so I started this podcast called Shine On, and people do tell their story about the light of Christ. Um, and and in that process, I also said, "So, what's the name of this podcast?" And it was very clear. It's called Shine On. And then I remembered that my mom has passed away 8 years ago. And my mom was the greatest example to me of shining the light of Christ in her life. Wherever she went, she would radiate his light. Um, she wasn't judgmental about people. She just in She just was such a great Christ-like person. And so since that day, every day of my life, I just felt my mom saying, "Shine on, Becky. Keep shining his light." And so everything that I've done for the last 2 years have been little pieces coming together. And this was another piece to my puzzle that when I designed this in January of the Shine On Bullet Journal, these are all the tools and the practices that I do to fill the light of Christ. And I really feel like my new mission is to share this, the tools, and to share his light through the podcast, through this, and through my life coaching. So all of these pieces have been coming together. So that's why it's called Shine On. Um, I'm gonna lift this up a little bit. So this is how I do my personal, this is my personal growth. Um, Jesus Christ is the center of my life. And just like in Luke 2:52, and it's the youth program of Jesus grew in his relationship with the Father, with God, with okay, I botching this scripture. He grew in wisdom and stature in favor with God and man. So those four areas. So I call them spirit, mind, body, and relationships. And each year, or each actually it's each month, I check in with this little plan. Like, how am I doing in each area? What do I need to improve in, and which one am I slacking in? Which one am I doing too much of? I've been in those places too, where I've put so much energy into like a fitness plan, but I'm missing out on um, my spirit. I'm not keeping up with my spiritual goals. So this is my check-in, and I will show you through my bullet journal how I kind of do this a little bit every day just to stay aligned. Um, so, um, so staying aligned, but I also have learned that some of the emotional things that I've struggled with in my life are depression and anxiety. Those things can just really boil up and overflow and get in the way of really living an aligned life. And this is just according to me how I have learned how it works for me. Um, so we all have a past, we're living in the present, and we're all aiming for a future. But when we keep living in the past and and worrying about it and um, we're mourning over or grieving over things that have already happened and in the past, there's this little space where they cross over, and that can cause a lot of depression. And if we are in looking into the future, we don't know how it's going to work out, and there's fear and overwhelm and anxiety. This is anxiety, and it can paralyze us from moving forward. And so I have learned that there's a healthy part of all of them. They're all part of God's plan, but the way we deal with them is it can change our experience with it. And so I have put some tools in this to help all of these be in a healthier relationship. And it has decreased my depression, it's decreased my anxiety, and I can have a healthier relationship in all of those areas. So, um, the other thing is like all we have control over is our present. It's what we do right now that will that we can even control. We can't really control the future except with what we decide right now. So all we really have is right now. And this has helped me get very present in the here and now. And it helps me appreciate the past, learn from the past, and then it also helps me project what I want in the future. Because if I can correct the present, it will impact my future, and the future will be bright. So, from my experience of sharing this with people, I want you to realize that this is years of me trying things and testing it out, and I've put it all in one place. So realistically, this is impossible for any one person to do the entire thing. Um, but there are tools here that I invite you to test and to start with and to try. So, going just kind of looking at the past, present, and the future. The very first page of this book is called the vision board. And and this is just blank grid dot. You can use this space however you want. For me, I went back to those four areas: mind, body, spirit, and relationships. And I divided them out and I just brainstormed things that were most important to me in each of those areas. Like, what do I want to feel? What am I aiming for? What's important to me? What brings me joy in those four categories? And I like putting the spiritual at the bottom because that is the anchor. Our spiritual foundation supports everything else above us, the mind, the body, and the relationships. So that is how I mentally picture this is my spiritual foundation has to be in place, and then I can build the other things on it. Um, so that definitely fits in the future of what I'm aiming for. This could be a dream board. What I did with this from that, I picked some pictures that went with some of those things, and I created my own little vision board on a regular piece of paper, and then I shrunk it down, and I've put that at the back of my journal. So this is my vision board, and as I look at it in the last that I've had for 6 months, I'm amazed at how many things have come to fruition. I'm going to do another one for the next 6 months, but I thought that it might take a year to get to all these things. And I think because my focus has been like that's my target, that's what I'm aiming for, they're happening sooner. Um, so so that is the vision board of using our future in a positive, healthy way. Not that we need to be anxious about it, but we do kind of have that target of what we're aiming for. Um, another, oh, sorry, and then there's a calendar in here of the months, and so you have that calendar that you can plan ahead. And then this is just like a regular planner. You've got your monthly layout, and then there's the weekly layout. Yeah, week by week. Days, those are hours of the day. Um, so it's got the planner, the organization part, which is important for the future. But another, uh, yeah. And if you have questions, you can raise your hand or just go off mute and say, interrupt me. That's fine if you have questions as they come up. But I'll just keep going until somebody says something. Um, and then these are probably the most important pages, so I might spend a little bit more time on this because this is where I really get present in my day-to-day thing. But this page of God is in the details of my life, it's numbered for the number of days of the month. So every day I write down one way I saw God in the details of my life. This has changed what I'm looking for every day. Instead of seeing the problems, instead of seeing the flaws of my kids or people around me or my husband or whatever, like instead of seeing those things, I'm actually looking for how did I see a miracle happen? Or how did I see a resolution? How did I see God detailed his timing, his divine timing? If this hadn't lined up with this wouldn't have happened. Like I'm looking for those things, and now I have a place to write them down. And at the end of these 6 months, I have 6 months of intentionally looking for God's hand. This has changed my spiritual relationship with my Heavenly Father and with Jesus. I see them in my life, I see them in my family, I see them in nature, I see them in the world. That's probably one of the most powerful things, and people who have been using this is probably um, of all of the tools that I'll show you, this one could transform how you, in 30 days, how you feel about your relationship with your Heavenly Father and how He feels about you. Um, so, any questions about that or thoughts or experiences that you've had? Have you done this before? Have you seen this done? I kind of got this idea from the Don't Miss This podcast last year. And they said, if you wrote one down every day, at the end of the year, you'd have 365. So I started doing this last year. And so when I was creating this journal, I was like, this has to be a part of it. So when I die, this is all my kids need now. It's my testimony, it's evidence of his hand. Um, so in a way, that is a really important journal that for yourself and for your posterity. So this page, um, there's three different sections all on one page. So I don't want you to get confused or overwhelmed, but let's just look at one at a time. So this one is I feel joy when I am a pretty serious person and I was always just taking life so seriously. And a few years ago, somebody said, well, what brings you joy? And I didn't even know. I was having a hard time finding joy or feeling it in my heart. And so a few years ago, I started practicing. Could I find one thing that brought me joy today? And yesterday, Katie, it was a butterfly. I saw a butterfly and I thought of Katie and I added it to my joy list. It can be the smallest, simplest things that make you smile, that made you laugh, made you feel so happy that it happened, or this person, or whatever it is, like just feeling joy. God wants us to feel joy. And I was kind of missing that because I wasn't looking for it. So this gives me a way to look for it every day and a place to write it down so that if I forget, it's here. I can find it again. Um, and then on this side, it's serve one person. I believe that service brings us closer to our Heavenly Father, and service brings us joy. Serving ourselves isn't good. I mean, it makes us happy, but that's not where the true joy is, and it's serving others. So every day you have an opportunity to write down how you connected with somebody. Did you serve them? Did you reach out, wish them a happy birthday? Did you give them a compliment? This has been a really good one with my relationships in my home. When I'm struggling with somebody, because I just keep seeing the things going wrong, this has turned it around. And I had heard an example a while ago about a marriage that was really struggling. And the counselor said, I just challenge you for 7 days to um, be there as your spouse comes and goes, and give them give them a hug and a kiss. Say, like, I see you. I'm glad you're here. Thanks for going to work. Just a connection, connecting with one person. And so I started doing that, just noticing that it changed my relationship with either my spouse or a child that needed that. So this has made given me a really opportunity to connect in a special way with a special person. Um, and I'll tell you, I'm sure you've noticed it too. There are people that cross your path you had no idea, you couldn't see it coming, and but when they cross your path, you're like, oh, I just really needed that today, or that person, or that conversation. So those are three different tracking things that I intentionally look for: God in the details, how I feel joy, and serving one. Now, this part right here, there are 8 spots open. Um, since this is my June one, um, we're not done with June. I just go through one day at a time. So my 8 spots. This is where you get to customize what happens. Habits are most important to you. What are you working on? Is it a relationship? Is it a course that you're trying to complete? Is it a book you've always wanted to read? Is it a project? Is it your calling? Is it a family vacation that you're trying to plan and it takes a lot of planning time? Is it a wedding? Like what are you working on? And what habits, if you did them for 30 days, what would it change? So this is a place where you get to customize I have 8 spots there. You don't have to use all 8. You could just start with one. What are those habits that you want to try to do every day? And after 30 days, see the improvement, see what has happened in 30 days. So this is kind of where that challenge happens of personal improvement, personal growth. Um, so that's how that part works. We have another one that just joined us. Hi, Allison.
Hi.
Do you want to just tell us where you live and how you're connected to me? We had everybody else share,
Yeah,
but
I'd love to.
yeah.
I'm Allison Henry. I live in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and I connected with Becky a few years ago, 2 or 3 years ago now, through our coach and mentor at the time, Tiffany Peterson, and we've stayed connected and done work together and inspired each other. And so I'm excited to hear what's new and good and what you're up to, Becky.
Thank you, Allison. And you're doing like a Bible study every week, right?
I am, yes. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
And
tying in nervous system regulation. So biology, neuroscience, and biblical principles and teaching. So it's kind of I'm playing around with multiple passions in my trying to make it work, right? Figure it out and create something new and fresh that feels really aligned to me. So yes, every Tuesday morning at 10 a.m. Eastern time, I'm doing a Bible study, but not your typical Bible study. I don't know how to really describe it, but that's a little
it
taste of what
it's
it is.
very unique to Allison. And I've loved getting to know Allison. She has taught me a lot. Um, so thanks for being here and listening to what I'm sharing.
Ah, thank you.
So I've kind of gone through parts of these are the tools that I have in my Shine On Bullet journal. And I am recording it, so if you can always go back and catch the first part. But so so that is the details of the details. God is in the details of my life that I look and focus on that every day. The joy, the service, and then your 8 customized habits. And this changes every month. So this page is at the beginning of the month. It's right after the monthly, like my monthly layout. There's the monthly habit tracker, and then the weekly things start. So, um, so going back to this, let's just kind of regroup because this is what I um the whole big picture. Um, so those habit trackers fit under the present of really getting intentional about what your actions and what your focus is on the day. And got in the details and the calendar. So there's a couple of more that really focus on the present, being present. This is in the weekly layout, but at the beginning of every day, I have three spots right there. And I have learned that if you have more than three things on your to-do list, you have nothing. It just does. I can focus on three things, but if I have 10 things there, I don't know which one's most important. I don't know where to start. I get overwhelmed. It's, and then I kind of get paralyzed. Like I feel like I get less done. When I pick three top things, and again, you can go back to those categories. Is there a spiritual thing that you really want to accomplish before the end of the day? Is there a mental thing, something you're learning, a project that you're doing, a class, a book? Is there a physical thing that you said, I'm going to walk every day? Have you done that? Like, um, just constantly repeating those things in my mind, body, spirit, and relationship. Which area do I need a little bit more reminder in? And this could be more, these top three things could be all about a business or job. It could be all, whatever is the most important that day. When you pick three, I guarantee you that you'll get more than three things done. If you get the most important things done first, you're present with that. Um, Other things fall into place. It's just spiritual science. That's what I call it. I can't explain it. It's spiritual science. Um, and then at the end of the day, um, the new book only has three there. This first part of the book has four. So when I redesigned the second half, I'm like, no, if there's three there, there needs to be three there. So at the end of the day, celebrate. What were those three things that you accomplished? Were they the same three there, or was it those three plus three more? Was it something that came up that you didn't anticipate, but you stopped and you took time to do it because you had the opportunity? So at the end of the day, it's just checking in like, wow, look what I did today, and I'm going to write it down. It changes the energy from, "Oh, I didn't get anything done on my list, or I still have a long list for tomorrow," to, I did three things. And you just feel positive. There's that vibration change that Allison taught me. It really up levels how you feel. So I go to bed just feeling accomplished. I didn't always do that. I went to bed feeling like, "Oh, this list never ends. It just gets longer and longer." So this has changed how I feel at the end of the day. More accomplished, more fulfilled, more satisfied. I've been on purpose. Um, and honestly, for some of those, it's like I folded the laundry, I unloaded the dishwasher, like whatever, like any celebration. It's a celebration of accomplishment. So that again is that living in the present, being really focused and kind of manifesting things that I need to get done. And then at the end of the day, celebrate that it happened. So all these numbers in between are hours of the day. And that's where I will put in appointments. Um, yeah, appointments, things on the schedule. Um, yeah, just like any other calendar. But I do color code mine. Green is my coaching. Anything to do with coaching or business is green. And my yellow is my spiritual church temple visits is yellow. I mean that's not really that important. Purple's my exercise, what I did. Pink is for my family if I have somebody coming to visit or I'm going to visit or a family thing. So I've just added color to my life too. That brings me joy. That life isn't just black and white. There's so much joy and colorful things around us. I had to wear my colorful Thrive in 25 shirt, my flower shirt. It just, color is life to me. Um, okay, so the top three priorities and then the daily wins. That's all on the weekly page. Those are all the things that really bring me present, help me live an intentional, purposeful life. Like I said, you don't start this off doing all of them. I hope that maybe there was one of those that just touched you like, I need more of that in my life. That's where I invite you to start. The place that you just feel like, I need a little bit of that more in my life. Um, I've been doing this for a long time. So I have a system. I check in a little bit in the morning, very little, just like what are my top priorities? What am I missing? But at the end of the day, I'll spend 5, maybe 10 minutes of reflection. How did it go? What are the celebrations um, on a daily basis? And then at the end of the week, the next, so this is the weekly thing. And then the next page, every week, there's one of these. It's just a check-in. It's a reflection. So how is my growth and expansion? Is it a business? Is it a project? Is it a family a trip that you're trying to plan? Like, um, what's happened this week in growth and expansion in my life, in my world? And then family reflection. I write down each of my kids, like what happened this week in their life and what changes. Did I see some that came to visit? What was going on with their grandkids? Just like reflecting. And this is one of those things that helps me live in the past in a healthy way. I take the lessons that I've learned from the past week. Do I need to change something for next week? Do I need to spend more time in one area than another? So that is something that supports this past, are my reflections. Um, so I have that at the end of every week. And then at the end of the month, I have a June reflection. And I've added some prompt questions to just, you can use them or not use them, but like ask yourself, what was the most memorable thing this month? Because sometimes it's a surgery, sometimes it's a trip, sometimes it was daughter lost her job. Like, what was really memorable about this week or this last month? That's a monthly reflection. And then what did I accomplish that I'm really proud of this last month? And then what were the biggest lessons that I learned from this month? And then what area of personal growth do I want to work on next month? So again, it's that check-in of those mind, body, spirit, and relationships. Um, and then I told you this is a 6-month calendar. So at the end of the quarter, after 3 months, I have a quarterly reflection. I check in quarterly. Um, what was the greatest accomplishment of the last quarter? What did I learn in the process? What area of personal growth do I want to focus on in the next quarter? And then what are 1 or 2 results that would make the biggest change in my future? So that is, so I have 3 different reflections. The weekly reflection, the monthly reflection, and a quarterly reflection, which incorporates that journaling part. So we've gone through the habit tracking system that I have, the calendaring, the planning for the future, and then the journaling, reflecting on the past and making it making it meaningful, learning from it, growing from it. So that is the whole Shine On bullet journal system. Do you have any questions or I this journal is available like I had mentioned earlier. It's $25. You can buy it, you can just implement it yourself. But if you really want to see and experience the impact of change, I am so excited. I just feel like this is the next thing that needs to add to my Shine On life is a summer 8-week challenge. And I'm going to guide people through all of these tools, and I'm going to help you set up your first habit tracker for the month of July and um, guide you through it. And I'm going to do it in a group setting. So for 8 weeks, I'll do a weekly call and I will teach a fundamental habit and support you. I'm not sure yet, depends on who's in the group, but there will be either a Voxer or a Facebook group or some kind of connection that we can stay in touch. And you ask your questions when you go on those trips and you get home and you feel overwhelmed and you don't want to start over. Like when family comes to visit and it throws you off schedule, like how do you get back on track? How do you use these habits to really support your personal fueling? Like you need to be nourished as life happens to you. So, um, yeah, I'm starting this challenge, and the um, the whole thing about habit tracking is that it's small, consistent effort. I have this, let me grab this. I don't know if you've heard of this little experiment, but or this is a factual thing. But if you were offered $1 million today or a penny a day, doubled every day for 30 days, which one would you choose? Um, if you want the $1 million, you can take that and walk away. But if you go with the penny and it doubles every day for 30 days, day two, you have 2 cents. Day eight, you have $1.28. Day 15, you have $163. Day 21, you have $10,000, $485.76. And you might think, I probably should have taken the 1 million because I only have 10,000. But by day 30, as that compounds, you have $5,368,709. And that is so similar to what habits are. You might do it after a week, you're like, I just don't see any improvement. After 21 days, you're like, this isn't working. That's often where people throw in the towel because they say after 21 days you should be in a good habit. But the real transformation, the real change is when you hit day 30. You look back and you're like, wow, that really did make a difference. And so I feel like the best way I can help and support people is working with you for 30 days and then reset, do a new habit tracker for the next month, and do it another 30 days. After 60 days, you have learned how to do the system, you have practiced it, you have failed, you've gotten back on, and you start getting more momentum. Um, so that's what I'm doing this summer, and I invite you to join in my 8-week challenge. Um, some of the challenge includes this bullet journal that is included in the whole price. Um, so yeah, it'll be 30-day habit trackers for 2 months in a row, July and August. Weekly group meeting on Zoom. and I focus on one fundamental habit lesson, and then we implement that. You connect with other like-minded women. Um, you focus on 30 days, reset, and do another 30 days. And I guide you through the whole process and support you in it. And I'm I'm the guide with you. I do it with you. So it starts July 1st, but there's some bonuses. If you commit to this, um, the whole total cost is $200. Like I said, it includes the journal. But when you sign up in June, I will give you two free one-on-one calls. That's where we set up your habit tracker. That's where we find out what's most important to you. Talk about your vision board. Start working on this so when July 1st hits, you are ready to go. And also, when you sign up for that, initially, you get $20 off. So, um, so the bonus is when you sign up by June 15th, you get $20 off plus the bullet journal. That's $45 value right there. And if you've ever hired a therapist or a counselor or a coach, you know that their hourly rate is 150 or more dollars. So um, I just want to make this is my first group, my beta group. And I just want to make this as affordable and as transformational as possible for you. And um, I'm just really excited about offering this for the summer and the growth that's going to happen for me and whoever's ready. I have no pressure to make, and I don't talking anybody into it. I just want you to think about that. And if you are like, that is so, I'm so ready for that, come join me. Let's do it together. So that's all, that's all I have. And I'm happy to answer your questions. Go back and go over something else again. Do you have any? Yeah, Katie.
You presented it really well. It was helpful to have the book in front of me and go through the different things. Um, and it's kind of exciting. It's kind of like, oh, and but then this little voice comes behind my and says, yeah, but it's going to be one more thing that you need to do. And if you don't do it, are you going to feel bad about it? And I'm sure you have some good ideas for how to keep positive because I know you're a positive person and encouraging, but I kind of like the idea of having somebody, one that you're accountable to, but also a cheerleader because I can see that it's not going to be just easy and um, not just, oh, yeah, this is what works for
Right.
me. So I really like the idea of the 8 weeks, and it actually works well with my timing right now.
Mhm.
So,
Well, summer
anyway,
is hard
yes,
and easy
yes, both. Yep.
because your timing is different, but yet your life is so unstructured. I I I really honed in on this because 3 years ago my husband retired. And so he's home all the time. My life changed. My kids are graduated, and all of a sudden, every day is Saturday. And I've hated Saturdays my whole life because they're so unstructured. I don't know what to plan on. And, meals are a mess on Saturday. There's just so little thing you could count on. And so that's why I started like, well, I can control myself. Things are going to happen in life. And it's not I have to allow people in my home and my family to do what they do, but who am I? What can I count on? And I found that I could count on being accountable and showing up for myself. That's what this is all about is show up for yourself. And yes, I'm not perfect. And on my habit tracker where I have holes, I love it. because it shows me that that day something else came up more important. Or I just didn't even think about it and I'm okay still. And I'd ask, do I want to keep trying that one again tomorrow? Um, I have lots of examples of where I failed and regrouped. The next month, it wasn't on my habit tracker. I'm like, this isn't the right season for that. I feel like I've learned more self-compassion and more, yeah, showing up from, I'm doing it for myself, nobody else, not doing it for anybody else. But it helps me be a better person for everybody else. So yes, I'm that cheerleader and I'm there to um when things are going well, that is awesome. When things aren't going well, saying you're okay. You're still okay. And there's that element of daily repentance that is so important, forgiving ourselves and moving forward instead of being so hard and shameful of ourselves that we retreat and go backwards. That's Satan's way. That's the devil telling us, see, I knew you couldn't do it. And Becky's here saying, I know you can. It's okay if you skipped a day. It's okay. But just
Yeah,
start again tomorrow.
that retreating is really a lot easier to do. And just
Yeah.
saying, yeah, just retreat and that's okay.
Mhm.
But it's also good to celebrate when you don't retreat. And um, yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes in my daily wins at the end of the day, I say, I stayed true to eating healthy for me.
Mm,
I made the better choice when I had a different choice.
mm,
Just I'm like supporting myself. I'm my biggest cheerleader. It's interesting how it shows up in all areas of life. Every day's different and it's beautiful. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks, Katie. Good comments. And I appreciate you. Like um, I gifted this to you and, but we never had that conversation of really showing you how to use it. And that makes all the difference. See, now I see what this is for. So, okay. Erin, you said, how do we sign up? Will that come in an email? Yes. And I do have a sign up. I also have a website. My daughter Mary has created my website. So you can sign up through that also. It's beckyshetlercoaching.com. I try to keep everything the same, Becky Shetler Coaching. And I will send an email with this recording too. Um, I believe you're on my email list if you signed up for, yeah, yeah, I think all of you are. So, like I said, to sign up before June 15th, that gives us time to meet 2 times. Let's talk about you. Let's customize those habits for your best self. Who is that? I love discovering that. Um, I feel like I have a spiritual gift to see people the way God sees them. And I've practiced that with my own kids. That's probably the hardest place to experiment with that. But it's helped me see other people for who they are. So I feel like he wants me to keep shining, keep sharing it, and um, reminding you that you are beautiful. He has a plan for you and a purpose for you. The worth of your soul is great in his sight. You're worth it. So, any other questions or I really appreciate you taking time to be here. So good. Yeah. You fill me. Doing this really fills my soul. So thank you. Okay, that's all I have. We're at the top of the hour, and you know how to reach me if you have any other questions. We'll just stay in touch. Okay, thanks. Bye.